Viewers, once more we welcome you to Message of Islam, reaching you from Independent Television. I'm your uncle Aji Alamin Alao. Inshallah, we are looking at another very relevant topic in our society. That has to do with greed. It is framed thus: position of Islam on greed. Position of Islam on greed. To take this vital topic, I have in the studio this evening regular participants. Close to me is Al-Aji Professor Bunyamin Ade. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the program. Alhamdulillah. And we also have in the studio this evening Malam Nuruddin Asunoge. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the program.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.
Alhamdulillah. Position of Islam on greed. When we talk of greed, Malam Asunoge, what exactly are we looking at?
Well, greed will simply mean when an individual is narcissist, it doesn't believe in other-centeredness, it is all about self-centeredness. Wants resources and everything to coagulate around its person. When an individual manifests this kind of proclivity, he is said to be a greedy person. Simply put, a self-centered person. Just me and myself alone. Other interests are irrelevant.
Alhamdulillah. Professor Bunyamin, if you have anything to add, let's know. Looking at the position of greed in Islam, I've been told that greed has to do with self-centeredness and so on and so forth. Now, can you please tell us what Islam, the view of Islam on being greedy? Let's start with that.
The Islam as a comprehensive religion that regulates the lives of everyone that believes sincerely in the oneness of Almighty Allah, who claims Islam to be his religion, regulates the lives, everything that we do. So also is the issue of greed, which is an attribute that we see mostly in human beings, or let me say, along with some other creators. It's something that is condemnable, and Islam condemns it in totality. The issue of greed is not something that is that is tolerant, that we are tolerant to in Islam, because of the fact that it has to do with the way we define individuals. Whether someone is satisfied with what he has, or it does not show high level of satisfaction. And as just earlier defined, it's an attribute that has to do with accusation of what is abnormal, particularly what does not belong to an individual. Islam condemns it.
Thank you very much. Islam condemns greed. In a particular tradition, Prophet said that a generous person is close to Almighty Allah, is close to the people, is close to paradise, and is far from the hellfire. And conversely, a miser, a selfish person, is far away from Almighty Allah, is far from the people, is far from paradise, and is close to the hellfire. Mama Asunoge, can you please help us make sense out of this tradition?
Yeah,
does the miser really mean a greedy person too?
They could be used interchangeably, even when they could also stand independently of each other. But what the Prophet ﷺ was saying,
yes,
was the fact that the one who practices generosity, the Quran likens it to a tree. There's a paradise that had quite a number of branches, and that when it gets old, of the practitioner of charity, it holds that individual so firmly until it pulls the individual into paradise. Conversely, for the one who is greedy and who is niggardly gets hold of a tree in hell, and that tree holds him so tightly until he is pulled into hellfire. Now, the issue of all of these will revolve around the absence, or so to speak, of the appreciation of the essence of one's being. One of the later caliph in Islamic history was desirous of knowing if there existed anyone who either had seen those who saw the prophet, may Allah be pleased with him, or those who saw those who saw the prophet. Then he got the intimation that there was a man who had become so old but lived far away from the city where they were of Baghdad. He sought to meet with the man. He asked that the man should be brought. He was brought in a stretcher. And the man narrated something that revolves around the whole issue of greed. It was a double-barrel story, which was that the Prophet ﷺ had said that for the one who is greedy, as he ages, the desire to continue to live grows stronger, and the longing for the things of the world equally is deepened. He was appreciated by the caliph, and when he was to leave, he loaded him with plenty of gifts. Those who brought him took him back. But somewhere while they were returning, he said to them there was a thing he needed to ask the caliph, and he alone was going to be in a position to provide an answer. These persons didn't find the courage of disrespecting him because they feared the consequence.
No.
If the caliph got to know that the man wanted to meet with him and they didn't bring him back, that would be a problem for them. So they took him regardless of the difficulties that was associated with that. And when he got there, he said, yes, I'm deeply appreciative of what you've given to me, except that we did not conclude whether I should be expectant of this at this same time every year. And so what the caliph said is that you have spoken the truth about the narration of the Prophet ﷺ which you gave to us. You are a living proof. You have given currency to that which you just told us. You gave life. You breathed life into those words that you spoke to us. I promise you, you don't even need to come. We will send those things to you every year. They had not gotten to half the distance they covered when he passed on.
No husband.
And so, for one who is greedy, you never get satiated. You want more, even when what you already have had not been of any use to you, no utilitarian value. But it's just that you get crazy, it becomes an addiction. You just want to have more without you even being in a position to explain why you are desirous of wanting to have more. And in wanting to have more, of course, you are pushing away others who should have benefited. Because what Islam requires of you is not just that you have, including what you eat. It says by moderation. Whether you have legitimately acquired food, you become greedy to the extent to which your neighbors go to sleep ululating on account of hunger, you didn't share with them. You become greedy to the extent to which you feel, because the Prophet said the tummy is the worst vessel to be fed. So he says, divide it into whatever. So it's not just that, well, it's my food, whatever I choose to do with it is nobody's business. It is somebody's business, because ultimately Allah will require you to give an account.
Thank you, Lord. If you are just joining us, we are looking at the position of Islam on greed. Position of Islam on greed. A greedy person is even when he attends a party and they are serving, he may take 10 plates while the rest have not even been served. Doesn't care, doesn't give a damn. In another tradition, Prophet says that if the son of Adam is given a valley filled with gold, he will long for another. Just free of charge, you are just called now. This very filled with gold is meant for you. Instead of being appreciative and saying, oh, I never expected this, thank God, you'll be wishing that, I wish it is 2. And if it was given 2, you wish it ought to be 4. If it was given 4, you wish, I wish it's 8. And if it's given 8, and so on and so forth, is never satisfied. Greed. Professor William Aide, let's look at this tradition that Mama Sonobe spoke about. When Islam said that tradition, as a man grows older, 2 of his desires continue to grow younger. The desire to live longer and the desire to acquire more wealth. Why is it like that?
Of course, it describes the real nature of human beings, particularly those that do not have control over their desire. Of course, in 2 passages of the Quran, Almighty Allah says that وَمَنْ يُقَصُّهَ نَفْسِهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. Whoever is saved from his own greed, yes, such individual is of course among the successful ones. Those that will be saved both in this world and in the hereafter. And then when you look at the nature of the society that we are, if you use our leaders or supposed leaders as example, the moment you see someone who happens to be a local government chairman, his aspiration will be to become the governor of the state or a member of the House of Assembly. The moment he leaves there, his aspiration will be to become either a member of National Assembly or the governor of the state. Even those that have been governor of those that have been members of National Assembly, their aspirations will be to become the governor of the state. You know, looking at all these positions, the entire strata of the positions, you can have someone who will spend 8 years on each of these positions. If you are chairman of local government, you are 8 years. House of Assembly member, 8 years. Governor of the state, 8 years. You become a member of National Assembly, 8 years. That's 32 years that you have spent. And the person, at the end of the day, will still aspire to want to become the president of the nation. This real example of greed. Such individual will probably see himself as the most qualified person to be in any of these positions. It could also happen in terms of the way we really acquire wealth. You see someone, and that's why sometimes we ask one another, how much do we feel we need? After which we will not request for money again. No. If you request for 2 million, you say, God, give me 2 million naira. After 2 million naira, I will not request for anything again. The moment you acquire the 2 million naira, the aspiration will be to double it and go beyond that. So we will be in this race till we enter the grave, except those that are able to curtail their own aspirations.
We will be in this grave until we enter our graves, except those who are able to curtail their own aspirations. He's referring directly to Surah of the Quran, Surah Al-Takassur, where Allah says that Al-Hakumun Takasur Atta Zuritum Waqabr, that rivalry in worldly gains distract your attention until you visit your graves. Please take it up from there. And very, very importantly, as teachers, we have people who are referred to as pious men, as righteous men, pious bondsmen of Almighty Allah, who are referred to as ascetics, who have renounced the world. And the example of them was Muhammad himself, Isa alayhi salam, Jesus Christ, then some companions of Prophet like Abu Bakr, Umar, so on and so forth. Now, these people, you'll be surprised that when worldly things come to them, they are not interested. So how are they able to attain that? They are not interested. Look at Abu Bakr, when he was the Khalifa, and they were paying him meager allowance as the Khalifa, as the president. He ordered that his allowance be cut down by the amount saved by the wife. And Umar found that the suggestion that they wanted to increase his allowance when they saw that he was not eating good bread. How are they able to attain that?
The investment you make or sacrifice on a particular object is a fixation of the value that is placed on that object. So it naturally will be proportionate. If an individual, for example, tells you that my goal is the hereafter, the life after now, all the activities will be geared towards the fulfillment of that goal. And so you can tell where the individual truly belongs. Umar bin Khattab had visited the Prophet on a particular day and was troubled when the Prophet rose from the mat he was lying on, and the marks, the traces of the whatever were all over his body. And he said, the king of Persia, who is not worth a fraction of what you are in the sight of Allah, lives a life of opulence, is in clover. How come you live this necessitous life? And the Prophet was more worried for Umar, and asked the simple question, are you in doubt as to the faith you profess? And so, for one who appreciates that the hereafter is the real honor, that the hereafter is the real goal, that individual does not bother itself. All that the world does for it is to play an ancillary role towards the realization of that ultimate goal, which is the hereafter. Yes, he would have to eat, he would have to drink, but you see, he does all of that in moderation, no desperation. It explains why there were days the Prophet would go without food, and that would be a normal day for him. He was not bothered, because the fact of the matter is, whatever you have accumulated that you suffer the misfortune of not spending while you are alive will become a burden for you when those who come after you misuse them. If they misuse them, the burden goes to you. If they use it well, you have absolutely no benefit, because you are not the one who spent them. And so when you go on accumulating, it's just because you do not trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you trust in fleet-footing things. So if I build houses all over, I occupy a position of authority. So when I become old, I will subsist on all of the houses I have built. Within a twinkle of an eye, Allah could cause the movement of the earth, and all of those things you believe in will come crumbling. So if the individual has that belief, and it is to address the issue of greed that in one of the strong tradition of the Prophet ﷺ, Allah had said what you refer to as Hadith Qudusi. Allah had said to the Prophet, he said, "O you children of Adam, I have not asked you with regard to the worship of tomorrow." Because you can't even tell whether you will see tomorrow. So I have not asked you with regards to the worship of tomorrow. Therefore, do not ask me for the substance of tomorrow. And he says, for as long as the heavens remain and earth, Allah's sustenance would never expire.
Thank you very much.
So it is for you to trust in Him.
Thank you very much. Allah's sustenance will never expire. Allah is not only the creator, the originator, the creator, and the sustainer. He originates creation and is able to sustain everything that He created. I'm coming to you again. First Islam said in one tradition, the way of living in luxury and comfort. For the pious bondsmen of Almighty Allah, do not live in luxury and comfort. In one tradition, we are told that until some of us are buried and the sound of the grave enters his mouth, he will continue to be greedy. Position of Islam on greed.
Of course, just as we said earlier on, greed is something that is condemnable in Islam, that is not that cannot be tolerated. And as far as one is concerned as Muslims, we do not have any right to say we want to express greed, because greed is an expression of bad traits in an individual. And the moment you have that in an individual, there is no way Almighty Allah will love such individual. There is no way fellow human beings will love such individual. And whatever we want to do, we cannot use, we should be able to use our attitude, our character, our dispositions to attract people into our religion. So therefore, greed is not an attribute of a good Muslim, and therefore it's not something that we can encourage in Islam. It's condemned and not tolerated by Almighty Allah.
Greed is condemned and Allah does not tolerate it. Ensure that you limit yourself to what you need and not what you want. Keep to moderation and not desperation. As we round off, last advice for viewers.
Yeah, what we need are clear. Let us not convert our wants into needs.
Thank you very much. Let us not convert our wants. So all those things you say you want, you don't really need them. Important thing is strive for the hereafter. Whatever you give in charity remains for life, and whatever you keep to yourself as a greedy person is of no use to you when you get to the hereafter. Let us avoid greed. Let us be generous, so that the world can be a better place for us to live in. Viewers, this is all we can do today. The time is not our friend. Thanks for coming. Al-Aji Professor Bunyamin Aide and Malam Eugene Asunoge. Viewers, I remain your uncle Al-Aji Alamin Alau. Let us avoid greed. Let us avoid greed, because greed is very destructive, not only in this world, in the hereafter. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
This is ITV. Certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
This is Aqua Game, a popular game in Africa played by our ancestors to entertain themselves after each day of farming. It is also relevant in our coronation in Africa. It is a sport and indeed very interesting, as every seed had a role in the game. Playtime is 45 minutes per set. There is no age limit as long as you can spin Aqua Seed. Ayo or Aqua Game, known as the game of intellectual. This game requires a lot of mathematical skills. Aqua Game is played with carved wooden box containing 12 holes.
ITV, certainly the best.
It gives me great joy to welcome you to yet another exciting time on Heritage with yours sincerely, Oluije Oyefokai. Today on Heritage, we'll be taking a ride down to Kenya to go see what they have for us, as Boma dancers will be performing today in Kenya. Yes, looking at their costumes, their display, the music. I tell you, culture is all it takes to bring each and every one of us together. So don't go nowhere, don't touch the dial. I'll be right back on the other side of Heritage.
Bomas dancers of Kenya in Nairobi performing and showcasing their rich cultural heritage of their people. The Bomas of Kenya in Nairobi is a vibrant cultural center featuring daily high-energy performances of over 50 traditional dancers from the country's various ethnic communities. These dances celebrate war and harvest and rites of passage through authentic life persuasion with colorful regalia and breathtaking acrobatic dance. The dance center was established in 1971 by the Kenya government. Its name comes from the Mesia word, Bomas, which means a homestead or livestock enclosure. The dance is interesting and fascinating to the eyes. Sound. The dances are centered to preserve, maintain, and promote the rich and diverse cultural heritage of Kenya's various ethnic groups.
Alright, sure, it certainly has been an exciting one today on Heritage. Taking a ride down to Kenya, I tell you, it is definitely a tourist center for you and your family to go visit. Alright, yes, Boma dancers did their display, danced, and of course listened to melodious songs. So we'll be seeing again next week for another exciting time. Till then, to have yourself a blessed day. Bye for now.
RTV, certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best. This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
All right, beautiful people, it's another lovely episode of your favorite Men's Rendezvous on television, and it is none other than the Guys Hangout Show on independent television, broadcasting live from the City of Bronze. Yep, it is that city where the king is truly king. Now, for the first timers out there, the Guys Hangout Show is one show that encourages young people to prioritize their lives, put themselves first. You know, we live in a society where little or no attention is given to the needs of men. Why is that? Only God knows. But hey, if you don't put yourself first, who's going to put you first? So that's basically what this show exists for, okay? So we encourage young men, basically, you know, to prioritize themselves and prioritize their needs. It's only when they put themselves first and invest in themselves that they can have to give to others. Just like the adage says, you can't give what you don't have. My name is Harry Aigboje, and of course, it's my pleasure to have you join us on this beautiful episode of the show. Now, like you already know, I'm never alone. I've got some amazing gentlemen in the house with me, and together we're going to be taking a look at a very interesting topic that we have to discuss tonight. Now, to my far left is a very amazing person. He is a social analyst, and of course, he's also an educationist. He goes by the name of Ramsey Uwaila Abu. Good to have you, Ramsey.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harry. And as usual, it is always a pleasure to be on the show.
Indeed.
And as good advocates of good things in society, or as satirists, the Guys Hangout Show has been a platform for us to correct some of the ills in society and as well expose its vices in order for it not to be repeated by the younger generations.
Absolutely. I mean, who's in a better position to, you know, bring some of these issues to the fore than the natural leaders of society? Yeah. You know, there are lots of responsibilities on men's shoulders, so we really can't afford not to live up to those expectations, right? All right, it's good to have you in the house. Now, seated next to him is a friend and a colleague. Yeah, he took out time from his busy schedule to be with us today.
Of course.
Yes, of course, and he goes by the name of Michael. It's good to have you, Michael.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here again to, you know, showcase and show what the guys is all about, you know, to, anyway, this is a wonderful platform for us to actually discuss things that pertains boys, guys especially, you know, the good and the bad. We don't have to be biased, understand. Thank you very much for the privilege.
Thank you so much for coming. Now, gentlemen, we have a very interesting topic before us. We're taking a look at emotional intelligence, right? The need for people to learn to control their emotion. Now, if you take a look at a lot of young people today, you will discover that there seems to be a lack of emotional control. For example, when someone is very happy, they tend to do something crazy. They tend to do things that, you know, they later begin to regret. And then when they're also very angry, they go to the extreme. Right? Some of them do some very crazy things only for them to start regretting it later. Now, you will agree with me that there is need for emotional control. Why do you think a lot of young people don't seem to have that ability to control themselves when they are at the apogee, when they are at the height of their emotional you know, expressions?
Okay, let me say lack of emotional discipline. It's almost becoming a widespread thing in our society. Not almost becoming, it is. It is a cankerworm that is eating deep into the fabric of the society. Lack of emotional discipline among the youth today can be tied to a number of factors.
Okay.
But before going to this number of factors, I want us to dwell on I want us to give a working definition of lack of emotional discipline. To be able to discipline yourself, first, is one of the greatest things you could ever do in life. No, it's very easy for you to tell the next person you are not doing this, you are supposed to do this. But how about yourself? How about you? So that is what many of our youths don't have. And when these emotions come, yeah, we know that emotions sometimes tend to take us off our natural state, at that state where our senses are complete. But that notwithstanding, there is still need for us to take control of our emotions, because the resultant effects of our emotional actions most times are very detrimental. You know, people tend to take permanent decisions in temporary settings because they couldn't just suppress their emotions. And as youth, yeah, we all know that the youthful age comes with its own youthful exuberance. There that curiosity, that need for exploration and all that tend to make our emotions flare up, and some of us even we are not being controlled by our temporary emotions instead of sitting down to say, what will be the resultant effect of this particular thing? But what are some of the factors that are responsible for this lack of emotional discipline? One, peer pressure. My friends do it, I will also want to do it. It is almost becoming a new normal now that if you are, let me use your language, if you are the type that is rugged in quotes, so they seem to see you as a macho man, that man that is taking control over, that tough guy. So instead they want to also do so that people will call them tough guy. No one is thinking about the consequences. And these consequences most time are very, very detrimental, either in the long run or in the short time. So I think youth need to sit down and take total control of their emotions. If they are able to take total control of their emotions, it will save them a whole lot. Religiously, in terms of a relationship and all that. We'll get to that in the course of this discussion.
Absolutely, we will definitely get to that. Now, Michael, there is a story in the Bible of a king, I think Herod, who asked his wife's daughter to entertain him and his guests. Now, the lady performed so well that he was super impressed. He was impressed to the point where he, gave her a blank check, asked her to, name her price or ask for anything. And then we all know how that story went. The lady asked for the head of John the Baptist, and the rest, they say, is history. Now, that was at the height of the man's excitement, right? And that's a case in point, as far as this discourse is concerned. The fact that some men particularly, we're actually looking at this as it affects us men, because a lot of things go wrong when a man loses his emotion. We're not trying to give exceptions for other people or other classes of society, women and children, but men are supposed to be in charge, of course, right? They're supposed to be at the helm of affairs. And then imagine what happens when someone who's supposed to be at the helm of affairs loses control, like in the case of Herod. And we all, like I said, we all know how that story went. Of course. Why do you think some men lose it in the height of excitement?
All right. Sometimes we let our emotions get the better part of us. And we need to do things that we're not supposed to do.
Okay.
Understand? So, when a society whereby my colleague just said that this exuberance, cloud of memories, cloud of memories and everything, you get. So right now, when some persons are in a kind of state, it's better for you to calm down. All right, better for you to calm down and think. We shouldn't.
Some will even recommend that you take a deep breath.
Of course, just take a deep breath. You understand? Sometimes if I can make should I say, salacious allusion, when some men are in this, what should I put it now? This ecstasy. They tend to make
rash decisions, and because of that ecstasy,
something that they can't actually do. You get, so they just start making those promises because of the height, the peak, the apogee of that excitement in quotes. You get, so I think people should, most of the time, they have to calm down when they're in situations, whether they are. See, we have some people that are belligerent. You get, so when they're in a particular situation, they should try to, keep calm. Just keep calm so that your emotions don't get the better part of you. You get, sometimes we got to do things that we later get to regret so much. In fact, you'll be like, am I the one that did this? I can't believe it. You get, these some persons there in television, they'll ask them, so how do you feel? They'll not be melancholic, like, well, I feel bad. That's because they allowed, you get, so
they allow their emotion to get
the better part of them. You get, so if some persons actually bring themselves to a check, like this is how should respond in situation. For example, now, all right, some persons that they're asking for donation. Some persons out of shyness or whatever, out of they want to impress,
intimidation.
Yeah, intimidation. They just begin to use the call. At the end of the day, now you're calling them, they're running away from.
Like we say in our local parlance, when their eye clear.
Of course, when their eye clear in the local parlance, you understand. So sometimes when they're in different situations, you try to be classy.
Okay.
You know, not to fall into regret.
Now, there's a particular story I stumbled upon on social media of a guy that was just thinking aloud, right? You know, some of these guys will just come on social media and say certain things, like share their experiences and all. So, dude was talking about an experience he had with his, with a lady, right? He said that he used to, every time he comes on social media and sees people talking about PS5, that he remembers a certain experience he had with a lady, how that he used to play PS5 a lot, and then at some point, a certain girl he was dating at the time got fed up with the fact that he was getting too addicted to the game. And then she came, seized the PS5 and then soaked it in water, right? And that was how he lost his PS5. And ever since, every time he sees people talking about, hears people talking about PS5, that experience just, comes rushing back into his mind. Now, this, to a very large extent, has affected lots of relationships, right? We have men who just tend to lose their emotion or lose their senses the moment they are angry, for example. Lots of cases of DV, domestic violence, are born out of this, lack of emotional discipline. You're angry, someone offended you. Now, just like Michael just said, one of the measures that people usually recommend whenever someone is angry is that they take a walk, right? Take a walk away from the scene. But that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Now, that singular act by that lady was born out of a lack of emotional discipline. Now, how much damage do you think this could, do to society if it is not checked?
Definitely, it will increase the number of inmates we have in our prison. It will encourage more violence, as people will tend to learn from the wrong people. It will cause a lot of breakup. It will increase divorce. It will increase the rates of crime. When we're talking about emotions, it all starts from the mind. People should learn to put their mind in check. Well, before you act, definitely these things have been conceived on the mind. You tend to brood on it on the mind. You tend to ruminate on it on the mind. If you are able to keep those things, those negative things on your mind in check, it will not result to emotional outburst.
You're saying it all begins with meditation.
Meditation, premeditation. You see, some of these things that people do out of, I call it emotional outburst. They've conceived it on their mind for some time. Though some persons are short-tempered, but that notwithstanding, you still have to do with something of the mind. They ruminated on it on the mind before they will say, okay, let's take this action. So these things should be discouraged. If it is not discouraged, we'll have so many ladies who will later regret their actions in relationship. And going to the case you just cited, sir, concerning the young lady that decided to soak the PS5 of her boyfriend immerse it in water and all that, that's because she couldn't just keep her emotions in check. Now, this is the same lady that will sit down later and say she will regret that thing she have done. That was not her intention. Her intention was just to get the attention of the man. But now that she have done it, the man is scared. If a lady could do this, next time she might decide to go for the TV or the refrigerator or any other appliances they have in the house.
So the guy seems to be living with the trauma now.
The guy seems to be living with the trauma, and the lady also live with the trauma. She's traumatized. There are some ladies that cannot, there are some people that cannot keep their emotions in check. And after the action, they always regret it. So the guy, the lady, the emotional outburst is not okay for any of them. So what we need to tell our youth out there is they should learn to always take responsibility for their action, and they should learn to always keep their emotions in check. They should learn to always guide their hearts. Not many things comes into the heart. It depends on how you ruminate on it before you give it out. The heart is like the processing unit. If you process it well and decide to say, okay, let this thing go, or I will report this to the authority, you do this yourself before in that thing. Not you trying to just get everything that is before you want to attack. No, at the end, those are right to become wrong. So I think people should learn to discuss some of the things they intend to do
with themselves
before bringing it out.
Okay, now, Michael, while he was talking, he made reference to the need for accountability. And that's a should I call it a currency that seems to be lacking in recent time, in modern day, because a lot of persons would rather push the blame to someone else, the blame for their actions to someone else. And the blame game continues. It seems like a cycle. It's a never-ending, phenomenon. Someone does something wrong, and instead of owning up and saying, oh, yeah, I did this, and this is why I did it, and I'm sorry, they keep looking for somebody else to push the blame to. And then the person you're pushing the blame to also wants to push it to somebody else. Where does this lead us?
All right. There is this cliche which Nigerians always use. It's the devil's work.
Okay.
All right. It's not the devil's work. It's inbuilt. It's in you. You need to be cultured. You need to be disciplined. Sometimes you don't have to let it out. There are sometimes you just need to calm down. You just need to calm down, and that thing you want to. There's this thing that, should I call it the super ego, is pushing you to say it. You don't have, sometimes hold it down. You don't have to let it go, because when it goes out, it causes damage. Sometimes we need to be, not sometimes, all the time, we need to be disciplined. Like you rightfully said, see, these things they are inbuilt. If you want to, okay, let's assume we're in a particular place right now, all right, and some things are happening. I think the mind is one of the fastest system in the body.
Processors.
Yeah, one of the fastest processors you get. So you need to process some of the things you want to see. Is it going to affect this person? Is it going to affect me later? What's going to be the come up pants for this thing if I let it go? So sometimes you just need to think, process everything, and before you see everything will be copacetic. You understand? So sometimes we just need to let things go.
Okay.
I myself now, some persons do complain about me some certain times. They'll say, why don't you get angry? Because I know what's going to happen if I get angry. I can't go to prison because of you. I can't spend the rest of my life because of you. So all I have this particular method. Either I keep quiet, or I start singing, or I leave. You get? So we just need to have.
Those are your personal measures.
Yeah. So I have this particular modus operandi. That's the way I operate it. So whether I start singing, it infuriates you, but I don't care. You get? So for peace to reign, for peace to reign, I just need to be placid. Before you, everything will be cool.
All right, guys, in case you just joining us, it's still the Guys Hangout show on Independent Television, and tonight we're taking a look at the need for emotional discipline. Now, emotional discipline seems to be lacking in our day, because a lot of persons just allow themselves go when they are at the height of their emotional expression. There's absolutely nothing wrong in being yourself and expressing yourself, but it's very important that you learn to put a check on your emotion, else you do things that you will regret, either good or bad. Now, Ramsey, let's take a look at the attendance effect of these things, right? Now, while Michael was talking, he made reference to the fact that sometimes the effects of these things are long-term.
Yeah.
And so, for example, the things you say cannot be taken back.
Words are like eggs, and when broken, you can't retrieve them. And that is why you must mind your words, you must mind your actions. You must not throw stones at every dog that barks at you. A man that is focused will not always want to attend to distractions. Some of these things these people do, they are distractions. If you are on the moving bicycle, then there is no need to stop. Have you seen anybody that is sleeping on a bicycle?
Of course not.
No, if you want to get to your destination, you keep moving. Now, definitely the people will get on your nerves. People will want to say things that will distract you. But like I always told my students, you don't throw stones at every dog that barks at you. That is a way of keeping your emotions intact. Now, you see, the effects of emotional outburst, most times they outweighs the benefit of it. So if you check some of the things that you will do when you get angry, then you keep your anger in check. And let's not forget, anger is just a little different from danger. If a man is very hungry, it will lead the man to a dangerous place that the man did not even expect. So with that, I expect everyone these days to say, I won't get angry. Instead, I will report to the authority, or I will do this later. You must sit here and start looking at the resultant effects of what this thing will be. A wise man once told me, he said, we know how fights start, but we don't know how it ends. So if you know you don't know how a fight is going to end, then don't start the fight.
Don't start the fight, okay.
So it's time for us to sit down and say, this is not the time we allow emotions to get over us. Rather, this is the time for us to keep our emotions in check. And most times you find out that you will be very happy later if you are able to keep your emotions in check. Because when you see the resultant effect of most things that will occur when you are not keeping your emotions in check, you find out that it's so detrimental. It outweighs the positive aspect of it. So I think it's always good for us to control our emotions and don't allow our emotions to control us. Like I said before, when you see people that are taking permanent decisions in temporary situations, you know that they are not able to keep their emotions in check.
Now, there's a school of thought that it's better to express yourself than to allow your emotions to accumulate, because when you allow that to happen, it will get to a certain point where, you know, there will be an explosion, and once that explosion takes place, you know, a lot of things go wrong. Do you share that opinion?
Yeah. All right. The thing now is that I think it's a stupendous idea. See, share your opinions, but let it be packaged in a way that will not affect the next person.
Okay.
See, let's assume someone upsets me, and it's been bothering me, causing some events, you know, everything. So I want to let the person know. There'll be a way. I have to take the person away from the public or from that place, so that person won't feel embarrassed. And I'll take the person to a particular place and start first. See, you need to make the person feel calm first, compliment the person first, and then start making your own complaints.
Okay.
In that, using that modus operandi, it will make the person feel guilty. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. But if you come in a bellicose manner, just
in a hostile manner.
Just be shouting and everything, it deteriorates everything. So there should be a particular way, like I said, the packaging. Just call the person to a particular place. At least the person should be reasonable enough to know, okay, for you to even bring this thing to my table, I think let us solve it. You get, if the person keeps talking and make everything worse, you can tell the person, okay, I've said what I have to say, and well, to God, I've already done my part and done my level best, and you take off. So it doesn't just develop a particular pattern that will not make things worse.
Okay.
Rather make things, you know, ameliorate things.
Okay.
You get, so it's just be the way you think.
All right, Ramsey, what you just said borders on manner of approach. Do you share that thought?
Yes, another angle to this particular issue is that there are some things that are better left unsaid.
Okay.
Maybe instead of saying it, and before you know it creates rancor, states of aggy-baggy, chaos and all that. But then, what you say and how you say it are two different things. You can decide to say something bad in a very good manner, in a way that the person you are talking to will not even know this thing is as bad as that. So if you must express yourself in order not to add fuel to fire, you must learn to put words in order. You know, when a child said, "Mommy, if you are my mother, you shouldn't have allowed Mama Nkechi to beat me like this. I never knew someone can beat me like that." The child is using words to manipulate his mother. Another person will say, "Okay, Mommy, this is what happened." Okay. So how you say it and what you are going to say matters a lot. But I think if you must express yourself, put all your skills and dexterity, your communicative skills to how you are going to put that message across. It will help settle the dust.
All right, thank you so much, Ramsey. Now, on the final note, because time is actually fast spent, what's your advice for people out there who always tend to think after they've acted? Right? There are people like that.
Of course.
Whereas the normal procedure is to think before acting. But there are people who only begin to think after they've done certain things. What's your advice for such people?
Yeah, some persons should develop this habit of packaging themselves to the extent that they don't have to regret their actions. Before you just blow off, think about what is this my outburst going to cost for me and for the person. What is going to be the end result? Okay. You just have to calm down sometimes. You see, the mind is very, very delicate. It can traumatize you. After you've hurt someone with your words, it can come back like a boomerang. It can boomerang, come back to you. You may never believe. You may never sleep because of
what you've said.
You are thinking of.
So it's your conscience that's not helping you.
Yeah, of course. You just need to think like, okay, how will you feel somebody tells you this particular thing you're saying?
Shoes,
okay. So you just need to just calm down.
All right.
Most of the time now, I believe to think like, this what I sent to this person, let me edit it.
Okay.
Like I just sent somebody a message.
Sometimes it's too late to even edit.
Of course, it's too late. You get so sometimes I just throw my address and be like, okay, I'm so sorry about that.
All right, thank you. Ramsey, you said something about, I know on the final note though, I know you already said something about discussing some of these things with yourself first. Yeah, so would that be your final word on this?
Yeah, everyone out there should learn to be in total control of their personality in all ramification.
Okay.
Don't throw stones at every dog that barks at you. Keep moving. and be focused.
All right, gentlemen, I want to say a big thank you for taking our time to be with me on tonight's edition of the show. You guys made it a success, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I hope that the next time I call upon you, you will be able to oblige me.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Now, it's been the Guys Hangout Show on Independent Television, broadcasting live from the city of Bronx. And tonight we've been talking about the need for emotional discipline. Now, it's very, very important that you learn to control yourself. There is absolutely nothing wrong in expressing yourself. It's why you're human, right? But it's also very important that you learn to put a check on yourself, just so you don't do things that you'll regret. Nobody wants to regret their actions. It's never a good thing, okay? So it's very important that you learn to put your emotions in check. My name is Harry Igboje, and until I come your way again, same time, same station next week, this is me saying stay out of trouble and enjoy the rest of your night. Bye for now.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
Well, it's another lovely Wednesday afternoon, and it's my pleasure to say welcome to yet another amazing episode of Flipside on Independent Television, reaching you live from the city of Benin. Now, for starters, Flipside is a social-cultural show that pinpoints special issues in the society, issues that need urgent attention, and issues that affect us in one way or another. Now, the program reaches you every Wednesday from 1:30 till about 2:25. My name is Harry Aigboje, and today we're going to be having a very, very interesting conversation, something that has to do with technology. And technology is something that, has made life easier for man. Now, you would agree with me that technology, has simplified life for man. There are so many things that would have been way harder for us if not for technology. For example, the fact that we can, find our way to our destinations faster has been made possible by technology. And there are so many other ways in which technology has simplified our lives. And that's actually, one of the things that we're going to be examining today. Modern technology and its impact on society. Modern technology and its impact on society is actually what we're going to be discussing today. And of course, to do this with me are two gentlemen who are, experts in their field. One of them happens to be a historian and a public affairs analyst. He's not a new face on the show. He's been here a couple of times, and he goes by the name of Mr. Foster Iyamu. Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Harry, and of course, good afternoon, viewers.
Good afternoon, sir. It's good to have you on the show today.
Thank you very much.
And then seated next to him, of course, seated in the middle, is someone else who is also a public affairs analyst and an educationist. He goes by the name of Ramsey Abu Waila.
Harry, it's always a pleasure to be on the show.
Always a pleasure to have you on the show, man. I mean, I know it wasn't quite easy getting here on such short notice.
It gives us a platform to let people know how we feel about things and things that help the society.
Absolutely, and that's basically it. It's indeed a pleasure to have you. And today, we're going to be having a really pleasurable conversation, something that has to do with, our everyday life. Technology is part of our everyday life. So we're taking a look at modern technology and its impact on society. Now, let me ask you, Mr. Foster, let me begin with you. How do you think modern technology has changed the way people communicate? I'm asking you this because you are a historian and you have witnessed, either by study or by experience, the evolution of technology over time. There was a time when we didn't have the means of communication that we have today.
Yes.
So what do you think, or how do you think that modern technology has changed the way that people communicate?
You will see that in the first place, when we are talking of technology, we are looking at new innovations. And technology has always been a part of the human society.
Okay.
We did not just get to where we are today by chance. Over time,
we evolved.
We evolved. Like you will discover in the prehistoric period, man lived in an unorganized society. But when agriculture was discovered, tribal societies now evolved. Then how were they farming? Like Egypt, for example, they had to depend on the river Nile to overflow its bound so that the leftover can be cultivated on, because it leaves alluvial deposits. But a time came, they decided, instead of waiting for the river to overflow its bound, they came up with the idea of irrigation system. It's technology. It now made their farming easier for them. The same thing with communication. You see, before now, you want to send a message to your village. Maybe you are going to, there's going to be an event next month. You have to send the message before the event even gets close, so that the people at the village, they will know.
Okay, you send it way before time.
Yes, way before time. You send a member of your family, go and tell them my village, so and so time, I'm going to do this.
There was even a time when they were sending birds. They said
yes, you understand? Sending envoys,
okay,
you know, to go and deliver messages. But after that, communication now changed. Letter writing now came. Then post offices were developed. After that, then the telecommunication now came, whereby the use of telephone. You have this one that you turn around to die. From there, another innovation now came. Handsets came up, just the button ones. From there, you had we had this calibrating handsets that you have something like a pencil. You used to touch the screen and do whatever you want to do. After that, you don't have the modern ones that we have. Even there are some like the BlackBerry you just made mention of. You want to call somebody on your contact, it's just for you to mention the name of the person, and automatically your phone will bring out the name of the on the contact, dial the number for you. Then you talk. So technology has done enough to ease our means of communication. Is it by way of text messages? Is it by way of WhatsApp messages? Even on Facebook, Instagram, just name them. So you sent me a message this morning. You didn't come to my house to come and tell me or to remind me of this program. You sent me a message via WhatsApp, and I saw it. Even before I replied, you called me on phone. So it has eased our communication. We're moving about is also part of communication. Like my friend said, he has to board a vehicle or drive here. It's a part of communication. He didn't need to trek all the way from his house or his place of work to this place. No. So driving a car or boarding a vehicle makes his journey easier for him. So if I do not meet you when the telephone gadget is not there for us to talk, then how can we communicate?
Amazing, amazing. Thank you very much for such an amazing start. Now, I would like to ask you this, Ramsey. Has technology made society more connected or more isolated?
Okay, technology to me, it's something that I can see from two different perspectives.
Angles, okay.
First, you notice that technology has connected us globally, but it has also isolated us locally. Now let me start from the global connection. Now you can just sit here and start chatting with someone from US, Canada, mention it, around the globe. I can decide to take a program in Harvard University, Cambridge, via my computers and all that. Technology has made it possible. However, the isolation that technology has also brought to us locally is the fact that two people went out for a particular date, and you find out that they brought out their phone and they started pressing their phone. Whatever it is they are doing on their phone. They called it a date. Now there is no longer connection.
An avenue to get to
know each other. Now they get in there now, they find out that they are more engrossed with their technological gadgets than what they are actually doing. I'm just using that as an example to instantiate what I'm saying by saying it has separated us or isolated us locally. Besides that, within the family setting, there was a time in our life where you have a family meeting, say every 2 weeks and every 3 weeks, every family must meet another. But today you see them on WhatsApp group. Even the WhatsApp group, some of them will be looking at it, they will not even interact or communicate. So technology came with its own blessings, not without a cost anyway. So the blessing is that we cannot connect globally, but locally we have isolated ourselves. It has bring this idea of you are more married, more tied to your gadget and more tied to your family members. That's fraternity is no longer there, because people believe that technology have so much taken their attention to the extent that they feel they can do away with people. and as well take in technology. Technology did not come to replace man. Man is a social animal. We still need this idea of having our relationship together. Yeah. But then they decide to do it with the technology, having a separate world, which I always see as the metaphysical world, the what will I put this down? The technological world, the digital world, where we have a social world that we're supposed to connect with one another. So technology, yes, has come to connect us globally. It has also come to isolate us locally.
Okay, now let me ask you, Mr. Foster, what are the positive effects of technology on education? As a historian, I'm sure you've also seen the effect of technology on education over time. Effects that were not really so pronounced in times past. Today you see pupils and students being able to learn faster, or even being able to carry out research easier than before. So in what ways do you think, in what positive ways do you think technology has affected education?
Okay, you've already answered the question by saying that it has helped students to learn faster. Those books students cannot have access to, maybe in the library or buy from the bookshop. They can Google such books and get them online. Either print them out or even read online. It's a positive impact. It makes them to come across arguments concerning topics they are kind of familiar with.
Okay.
Like me, being an historian, I do that a lot. There was a post where somebody wrote, somebody posted that there was a time Hitler went to the Congress and took a chicken, removed all the feathers. Having done that, he put his hands in his pockets, dropped the chicken on the floor, dropped some grains for the chicken, and the chicken started eating. He said that is what the elites they do to the masses. So I now corrected the person that posted it. Actually, it was not Hitler. It was Joseph Stalin of Russia.
So you were speaking as a historian?
Yes, I was speaking as a historian. You understand?
Yeah.
So I came across that in online. So I had to comment, to correct the person.
And that happened because the information was available online?
Yes, the information was available online. There are people who may not have access, like I never had access to that book that carried that information. But online and being taught in school, I was able to have the knowledge of it. So when I saw the wrong or the misinformation online, I had to quickly correct it. So it is part of the positive impact of technology on our education.
Okay.
So there are sometimes I just go online. A topic will just drop in my mind. I go online, I Google search it.
The research.
Yes. Then I start picking materials online. Then if it is the one that I need to go to the library, I go to the library. If it is the one that I need to order for such a book on e-books,
place an order.
To place an order, I order for it.
All right.
So it helps to advance my knowledge as well as others that are like-minded with me.
With you. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Foster. Well, in case you're just joining us, it's still Flipside on Independence Television, and we're taking a look at modern technology and its impact on society. We have to go on this break now. When we return, the program continues. Please stay tuned. All right, many thanks for rejoining us. It's still Flipside on Independence Television. Now, my next question goes to you, Ramsey. I actually asked him a question as regards the effect of technology on education in recent times. So, do you have any reaction to that?
Of course, no doubt. Technology has brought a lot of blessings to education. We can now easily access textbooks, information, and all that online, but not without coming with another form of distraction. I am saying distraction is simply because you cannot erode the fact that children are now easily distracted because of their gadgets or various phones that they parade and all that.
Even though some of these materials are now in digital form.
Yeah, they are not digital form. Some of them can even tell you I'm reading, but that's not the truth. You are reading on a test or a chat comes in and you quickly opt for it by leaving your books and all that. You find out that the level of education we have today in our society is declining. Despite the fact that we are having an increase in modern technological gadgets being innovated, and that is because people are putting it to negative use, and that's because you can easily be distracted by these gadgets and technology. I'm not saying it's not good, I'm only saying it came with its own cost.
So you're saying that's more like a Trojan horse?
It is. It is. That is the best way to even describe it right now. So I think technology has done a lot for us in education. Its effects are both positive and negative. It has also come with something I want to call people are now reading to pass and not just reading to know. They believe that once you get those information on the gadgets, you just pass your exam and you forget about that. It has to stay with you. So we are grooming or bringing our students.
Are you saying it has made students more lazier?
Yes. They are now lazier. They don't read for the sake of knowledge. They don't pursue knowledge anymore. They don't seek knowledge. Many of the professors we have these days, they read using their textbooks and all that. Now we have children who can easily just get information online and they will tell you to read it later. With some of us borrowed books to read, but this time they have everything on the textbook to read, but they are not reading. So technology has had both negative and positive effects on our education.
Okay, now there is a new dimension of technology, artificial intelligence. This has actually revolutionized the way we interact, the way we research, the way we educate ourselves. As a matter of fact, there are so many tools, AI tools on social media. ChatGPT is one of them, and that has actually made it so easy for people to access and get information. For example, before the advent of AI, there was just Google. So if you needed to know anything, all you needed to do was just type in whatever it is you wanted to, and it will display on Google. But now ChatGPT takes it to the next level, whereby whatever subject it is you're trying to gather or you're trying to gain knowledge about, all you need to do is just type it on ChatGPT and everything will come out. Now, do you think, because I asked Ramsey a while ago if he thinks that has made people lazier, that has made the youth lazier, do you share that thought? Do you think it has actually made them less productive?
Yes. Because if you look at it, the AI who came up about it, it is not God himself, but humans like us. So whatever the AI has got to deliver is being imputed by humans like us who carried out researches to be able to arrive at what they have given to us. So if for the fact that you will now make things easier for me, does not mean I should really take it like that. I still have to work on my own to get deeper knowledge of what you have made easier for me, so that it will help me. Now we have lecturers in the university. They teach students from the knowledge they gain. And in fact, things are easier for us now. I've never visited the library one day to go and read. I carry my phone. I ask AI. There are some that I dispute, because human beings are responsible for whatever AI has got to deliver to us.
And human beings are fallible.
Yes, they can make mistakes.
Okay.
There are some that I dispute. Say, no, this is not how it's supposed to be. This is how it is, and not the way it is being put. So I cannot just rely on AI, or should our youth just, they should carry out researches by themselves. If they were able to make it, I mean, the person that came up with the AI was able to make it, why can't you make it yourself? Why not continue from where he stopped? Because he continued from where others stopped, and that is where he was able to come up with the AI. As at 1991, when I was in Japan, do you know they already had a robot welder? I was not told. I worked in that company, Kato Teko. We build structures with steels. So this robot weather, they will record a voice note on a cassette, place it. It has a device that plays that cassette. So once the cassette is playing, you see the robot will start welding. When the nozzle of the welder is dry, it will take it to the plier. The plier will cut the wire off. Then it will take the nozzle to the grease to kind of oil the nozzle. It will start welding again. But they've gone more than that. Somebody
that
got
as at 1991.
1991. That is 35 years ago now.
Wow.
You understand? So somebody got to that stage, then another person now took it from there. If they were being lazy,
and if they were stagnant,
if they were being lazy, they would have been stagnant. They wouldn't have gone more than that.
True.
So if we have to depend on AI, it's going to, where the AI that we have now is going to make us stagnant. We won't improve more than that.
Okay.
In life, you need improvement. That is why Benin will say, when your children are better than you, it's a blessing. Because they surpass where you got to.
Okay.
So if you are not better off than your children, to us the Benin is a curse. Because they became stagnant. They couldn't even achieve what you achieved. It means you were lazy not to have surpassed your parents. So depending on AI, if it makes you lazy or makes anybody lazy, it's an error. You have to improve on it. Because the person that came up with that idea improved by way of researches, the combination, researching into the works of other people to come up with, to develop his own. You can equally do the same.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Foster. That was a very eye-opening one. Yeah. Now, in the light of the current realities, would you say that AI, artificial intelligence, is a blessing or a curse?
Both.
So you think it's a threat to society, or
it is at the same time it's a blessing, but at the same time it's a curse. AI was supposed to assist, but now it's now replacing. It has stifled creativity. People no longer think for themselves. Children are now very dull. I call some of them educated illiterates, not because they refer everything to AI, including some of our medical doctors. You see them in the hospital, they're asking you the symptoms and all that, they're asking AI. So I'm not being treated by AI. So AI has come to improve things for us, but in the same way, in the same vein, we didn't use it well. It has come as a cost now, but it's blessing at the same time.
Now you said that AI is supposed to be, or was meant to be, a form of
assistant. Are you supposed to? Because that is not what they are not using it for. Okay, it is now replaced instead of assisting.
So in what ways do you think it could have assisted?
Of course, they could have just asked AI some certain questions, and from there add yours to it to enhance your creativity, or maybe as a guide and all that.
Okay, to add to your already existing
knowledge or the knowledge you want to pursue. But this time, it is whatever AI says that you see some of our engineers, our medical doctors, and others using, and that's problematic. You don't see our medical doctors. You can't treat a patient, you can't diagnose a patient. You must ask AI up to drugs, even in some pharmaceutical industries.
Now, what's now the essence of going to school to acquire a degree?
That is a question that we'll ask them to answer. That is the question that we'll ask our educational system. Now that they've so rely on AI, even some university, I can tell you that some lecturers teach using AI. So AI has taken over the world today and said, okay, why are we humans? The difference between humans and animals is that we are Homo sapiens. We can think for ourselves, we are innovative. That AI is already, we are superior when it comes to mental activities. But AI is already doing these things. Does that mean AI is bad? AI is not bad. I think the approach in which we are using it is wrong. We are supposed to use AI to assist ourselves in all endeavors and not just to replace it.
If I may interject.
Please do so.
You see, the problem with us, let me not say Africans now, let me say Nigerians. Whatever new innovation that comes, we tend to abuse
it. Don't even use it.
So the problem is with the wrong use of it.
Yes. Do you know, even up to as we speak, the advanced world that comes up with these new innovations, they still create room for both digital and analog. In case of any eventuality,
even the Western world reach these things where
in case the digital fails, they will now fall back to the analog. But do we do that here? No,
we don't.
This is what is in vogue now. Do you know, even up till now in Japan, photographers, they still have darkroom, they watch pictures. They still have dark room.
And that's not because they do not have modern technology.
They themselves are technology. They are technology themselves. So they know that technology can fail where human cannot fail. Can the AI think for itself? No. That's why I said whatever is in the AI has been programmed. Having done a lot of researches to be able to program the AI perfectly, but yet the AI cannot think for itself. But we humans, we can think. Like on Saturday, they almost stole my car. They broke into it. They tried to start it, it did not start.
Didn't start.
When I tried to start it, it did not start. Having tried and tried and tried, I just decided to put it on neutral.
Wow.
And the ignition now turned. When I now put it on park, it now turned and started. If it were to be AI, would the AI be able to think like that?
Clear difference between humans and technology.
Understand?
All right, thank you very much. I know you have a whole lot more to say in that regard, but we have to go on this very important break. Of course, when we come back, I'll need you to continue on that stream of thought. Well, it's still Flipside on Independent Television, and we're taking a look at technology and its impact on humanity. We shall be going on this break now. When we return, the program continues. Please stay tuned. Good to have you back. It's still Flipside on Independent Television. Now, let's take a look at the use of technology, in enhancing enhancing economic development. So, do you think Africa, as a continent, has harnessed technology well enough to, develop its economy so far, Mr. Foster?
Okay, if you say Africa, you are generalizing it. There are some African countries, like South Africa, for example. You cannot compare the economic development in South Africa to some other parts of African countries.
Okay, but there is a school of thought that argues that the development that we see in South Africa today was not championed by the black Africans themselves, like it was done by the whites.
Well, done by the whites. They call themselves black South Africans, then you have the white South Africans.
Yeah.
What matters is that they are South
Africans. Okay.
The outsiders did not come there to do it for them. Because the white South Africans we are talking about, their forefathers were the ones that came to settle down there as far back as 1652.
The British and the Boers.
The British and the Boers from the Netherlands. So, where do you expect them to go? So, over years, they developed. And modern technology has helped to enhance their today's economy. But other parts of Africa, like Nigeria, my country, or like Ghana, most especially where you have the dark skin.
Well, how come such ingenuity has not been replicated in other parts of Africa? What's the difference?
It is our level of mindset. If you see the way we reason in this part of the world, whatever comes is an opportunity for you to enrich yourself. As against enhancing the good productivity of the country at large. Now, why are we not fighting against corruption?
Are you saying we have an individualistic mindset?
Yes. Now, why are we fighting against corruption? Why can't we fight against corruption? If you create an office for people to fight corruption now, eventually you have made that office a money-making office for the person that you put there. Because that will be getting kickbacks from the person who is supposed to fight for the government. You understand? So now, okay, well, before this digital era, how many times did you hear that bank officials carted away with customers' money without trace? The banks, they have to develop our economy, whether we like it or not.
Okay.
You give to the bank, and the bank gives back to the society. But this time around, You put money in the bank and it will just vanish without trace.
All thanks to technology.
Is that one? Any money that goes out of the bank is out of our economy. Because that money is supposed to generate profit for the society.
Yeah.
You understand? So, for me, I don't know of others, we have not really been able to harness it to better off our economy. Otherwise, we will not be crying of hunger today. Go to the local bukateria and buy the rice of 1,000. They put 2 spoons for you and tell you it's 1,000. 1 spoon is 500 naira. So where would that one go with you? And yet we say we are not living in the digital world. No. It's like even the analog world is better than the one that we are living now. The analog world where you go buy mama put, you eat and you are very, very satisfied. So we have not been able in all sectors. Just name them. Go to the hospital. They'll tell you there is no light. They cannot access their system. You know that the hospitals generate revenue to boost our economy because they give back to the government, whether we like it or not. And the government is responsible for our economy. So they tell you they have no light, they cannot access their systems. But before the digital era, they will be able to respond and carry out their duties effectively. Go to offices. Somebody will tell you, yes, even if it's a matter of urgency, you say the network has not come up. You start waiting for hours before the digital system came. Where it will work efficiently. So all these things, they help to bring our economy down instead of boosting them. So that is what I feel. And that is why our country is the way it is today.
All right. Thank you very much, historian Foster. All right, let me ask you, Ramsey. Some persons have actually said that the advent of modern technology has robbed us of not just our humanity, but of our privacy. Now, some people say that they feel like, they don't even have any form of privacy anymore, that virtually everything they do is on social media. And it almost feels like